Hello, everyone. So this is pretty informal. I just wanted to share with you some tips and recommendations when you're filling out the HACU application. I've noticed that a lot of you have started the application but are missing some documents when it comes to like resume, letter of intent, and the letter of recommendation. So I just want to provide you all with some more insight and hopefully some helpful feedback that could help you complete the application. And again, if you have any questions or anything like that, you could always email me directly. The deadline for the HACU application is tomorrow at 11:59 p.m. So March 27th at 11:59 will be the closing date. And again, if you have any questions, right now, once you submit the application, you don't necessarily receive a confirmation email. So just make sure that all your materials are submitted. And if you do have any questions, whether or not your application was submitted successfully, you can always email us, and then we will make sure that we respond to you in a timely manner regarding your application. So I want to share with you the application sample. So you can actually access this by going to our Career Center website. So if you type in Career Center CSUSB on Google and click on Career Center, and then if you hover over Students and Alumni and then HACU Track Scholarship, here you'll find all the information about HACU, a really neat documentary video, and a HACU scholarship application. So if you click on this, this is actually last year's application, but it's the exact same application that we'll be using for this year. And these are first set of questions, so short answer questions that I want to go over with you also. Please provide and explain your community service involvement. So this can be activities that you've done or volunteer opportunities that you've done in the community. It can be volunteer opportunities that you've done on campus. Perhaps you volunteered at a campus event. You can include that on here as well. And also think about involvement that you've done in terms of outside of campus as well. So, you know, volunteering opportunities or things that you've done even in the classroom, that could also be helpful too. And then the next one is to elaborate on your leadership roles and awards received. So sometimes, you know, leadership isn't tied to titles. So, but of course, if you are involved on campus and you are in a student organization and you're part of the executive board, definitely include that on there. The importance with these two questions is to be specific, to be as specific as possible, and to provide a specific example of how you've demonstrated your community service and how you demonstrated your leadership roles. But again, leadership isn't tied to a title, so it could be even a time where you demonstrated your leadership during a class where a student might have not been as familiar with a concept and you helped that student out, or even speaking out in class. You know, think of all the different ways and what characterizes a leader and then how you've demonstrated that. Okay, so the next section is to attach the application materials. So the first one is a resume. You know, to submit a one-page resume, it doesn't have to be perfect. Definitely, we recommend to have it revised if you get a chance. But the important thing is to submit a one-page resume as a foundation, because we, you know, during the pre-conference, we actually will dedicate time to go over the resume. So you don't need to, you know, really stress too much on perfecting it. We just need a resume as part of the application material. The letter of intent, so this is actually where the application is the most weighted on, is your letter of intent. So this can be 1 to 2 pages. It can be single spaced, double spaced, but this is, think of it as like your, you know, letter of telling us why, or telling us your intention in going to the conference. Like, why do you want to go? Some questions that you can follow are these 5 questions. You can use each question as a paragraph. So the first paragraph is tell us about yourself. So include your name, your major, the year, and your reasons for applying. So tell us why you want to go to the HACU annual conference in Orlando, Florida, and share your background. So some students in this section will share their upbringing. They'll share like maybe some family background, or they'll share a little bit more about themselves. And the purpose for the first paragraph is to really get a sense of who you are and providing the reader some context to who you are, because the Career Center staff does, we don't evaluate the applications. It's actually staff members and professors on campus that will read your applications, and many of them may or may not know who you are. So it's really important to introduce yourself and providing some context of your background, and to get a sense of to get to know you a little bit more. The second paragraph focuses on what is your ideal career and career plan. So for your ideal career, think about after you graduate, what is ideally what you would want to be doing. If it's a specific occupation, it can just be, this is the field that I want to go into. And then the career plan, so making sure that you state your ideal career, and then also state what are the actions that you're currently taking to pursue that career. So maybe you're planning on finding an internship, or maybe you are, visiting the Career Center, or maybe you're connecting with, instructors in your field or people in your field to get to know a little bit more about what that entails. So let us know what your career plan is. And again, that's the actions that you're taking to achieve your career. The third paragraph is the HACU annual. How will the HACU annual conference assist you in achieving your career plans? So how will attending the conference, help you with the actions that you're taking? So connecting it back to the second paragraph. And the fourth one, and I definitely recommend visiting HACU.net. So if you go to HACU.net, over conferences, annual conference, and then go to agenda here. So here you'll see the conference agenda. They have a lot of different opportunities at the conference. So they have a lot of networking opportunities. They have concurrent workshops that cover an array of topics. An exhibit hall where over 700 different organizations will be participating. So you want to make sure that you go over the agenda and see what is the most appealing to you about the conference, and definitely connecting that to your application. The fourth one is how will attending the conference influence your career path to make a difference in your local and global community? So think about this question as after you attend the conference. So picture yourself, you went to the conference, now you're back. How are you going to be using the information that you gained from the conference, or the skills that you enhance to make a difference in your local community? It can be at CSUSB. And how will you use that to make a difference in impacting others? It could be your family members, it could be for your friends, your other students who might not had the opportunity to attend this conference, but how will you use this experience to make an impact on others? And then the last question here, it does kind of seem like it's optional, but I definitely recommend you filling this out. So for your fifth paragraph, it could be, please provide us with an additional information that can help us evaluate your application. So I definitely recommend you including any information that will help the reader in making the decision on your application. So this can be, your experiences on campus. It could be um, talking a little bit more about what you aspire to become and how this conference was going to help you. Um, any information that you can provide will be helpful. The next set of the documents that is needed is the unofficial transcripts. So you do need to be enrolled for the fall when the conference occurs. So you have to be an enrolled student and to attend the conference as part of CSUSB. And then we just need your unofficial transcripts. The letter of recommendation. So the letter of recommendation, it can be from a staff member or an instructor, but it doesn't have to be. So it doesn't have to be from a professor. It can be from a family member or a mentor. We just want a letter of recommendation from somebody who knows your character really well and who can speak on who you are, because we just want another perspective in seeing, the type of person that you are. And again, it can be from a family member, just somebody who knows you really well. It can be from a mentor. It could also be from a staff member or an instructor.